Hello, I am Getaneh Alemu. I work as a cataloging and metadata librarian at Southampton Solent University here in the UK. My short brief talk today would be about metadata in the context of the European Commission's MOOC virtual learning environment course organized by the University of Parma by Professor Anna Maria Tamaro. So I will talk about metadata and the different categories of metadata, metadata interoperability, and an emerging theory called metadata enriching and filtering. So first of all, what is metadata? As Karen Calhoun in her book Exploring Digital Libraries identified, digital libraries can have different components including collections, services, users, and technologies. For all this, to link them, we need metadata. Especially, I'll talk more about what is the role of metadata to bring collections together and also to make collections accessible in the context of digital libraries. So metadata is data about data. This is a widely accepted definition of metadata. But in terms of its function, metadata has various functions. You can use metadata to search. For example, when you sit on a computer screen looking for a piece of information, or you go to a library search engine trying to find a book, or just anywhere in a collection you want to search, find, identify an information object. It is the keywords that you use to identify and find information objects that's called metadata. Metadata helps you to find, identify, select, use, provide context, to annotate, link, share, remix information objects. So the metadata sits behind the information object, but it enables it to be discoverable, to be findable by users. There are different types of metadata. These are the broad typologies of metadata. Descriptive metadata, which provides description for an information object. It might be a print book, an electronic book, a journal article, a painting, or anything for that matter. So it gives, for example, the title, author, publisher, subject, keywords of that information object. The other category of metadata is called administrative metadata. It provides the source, provenance, rights, and context for a particular information object. The third type of metadata category is called technical metadata. This is information data about, for example, the hardware and the software, the application used to create the information object, the file type. It might be the different file types like a document file type, spreadsheet, video, audio, animation, all kinds of database. So that is the kind of metadata which gives the technical information, which is especially helpful to access, view, download, read information objects. So when you describe an information object, it's important that you have descriptive metadata, administrative metadata, and also technical metadata. To do this, you need standards. There are different types of standards. A lot of them are freely available, and some of them you need the technical expertise, and they are designed for specific purposes. For example, METS is one type of metadata to structure, provide structure for an information object, XML to transfer information across different platforms, BibFrame, a new library standard, but also the traditional library standards like MARC, Dublin Core, and also the established library management systems, discovery systems are some of the standards you can use. For e-learning purposes, you can use LOM, Learning Object Metadata. Publishers use Onyx, and also EXIF is a standard for image metadata formats. in order to make the different standards talk to each other, link to each other, interoperable, to make them interoperable, you need again a different set of standards, tools, and specifications. These are the diversity of standards. There are plethora of specifications for different purposes. For example, to organize, create, disseminate, preserve, organize your information in different ways. You need all different types of metadata standards, but you can choose the most pertinent ones based on the purpose you are. For example, if you are developing content for e-learning, you may want to use standards that are relevant for e-learning, like the learning object metadata. Or if you are just creating metadata for a website content, you can use Dublin Core. Or if it's a library, you can choose standards. But you need to make a proper choice selection of standards in order so that you can to make your information objects more discoverable and findable by information users. To do that, various people came up with solutions. One of these is came by linked data. This is a new standard, RDF and linked data, which was recommended by, which was specified by Tim Berners-Lee, who is also the inventor of the World Wide Web. So linked data is a kind of metadata specification, but this can make other standards interoperable by making them open, by making them more non-proprietary, and using some standard format of resource description framework, and to make your data open. Metadata is about links, it's about connections, it's about the relations between the various information objects within your digital library or repository. This is just an example. For example, you can have metadata for a specific journal article. Who are the authors? Where are they working from? And the different keywords associated with this article. You can also link it with research groups, projects, funding, outputs, datasets, and various other facets of information. So metadata is about links. With the growing volume of information objects, with the diversity of needs by our users, we need more metadata. The more metadata you have, the enriched your metadata is, the more you can make your information object discoverable by users. In order to do this, you need to involve users. That means, in addition to the expert-created metadata, which it might be, for example, if you are a teacher, a librarian, an author, a publisher, that is the one side of metadata, which I would call a priori metadata. Metadata before the information object is placed for the user. But the second set of metadata is by metadata created by the users themselves. So you can involve users as collaborators, as co-creators in your library or in your content development platform. So the recommendation is to have a kind of two-way collaborative metadata approach, where users can create metadata, but also librarians, catalogers, metadata experts, teachers can create also another set of metadata, and you can combine and use it together to enrich your information objects. This brings us to a new concept, an emerging concept called the metadata enriching and metadata filtering. The idea is to have as much metadata as possible by combining both user and expert metadata using a mixed metadata approach. And you can present that in an open platform like linked data RDF platform. And also you can have interlinked metadata using again RDF and other open standards. So the idea is to have incorporate the diversity which is inherent in users in your metadata system, so that users can actually create and continue to enhance your collections by adding more metadata. Metadata, as I said initially, is about the keywords, it's about the reviews, it's about the aboutness of the information object, so that the information object, it might be a book, an article, or any kind of information object, can then be enriched. And once you enrich your information object, you can then present that metadata to users in different ways. You can present it in various ways. This is an example of user created metadata. So that means this is a platform called LibraryThing. LibraryThing is it is a freely available system where you can actually collaborate with other readers online and create metadata about a particular information object. In this case, a book called Everything is Miscellaneous by David Weinberger. So in addition to the traditional conventional metadata you find in libraries like title, author, subject, keywords, author information, or other usage information about this book, you can actually have the conversations surrounding this book. You can have tags by users. Many people have tagged this book as cataloging, classification, taxonomy, Web 2.0 metadata, as you can see. But some users also categorize it, tagged it as just KM knowledge, even some as wish list. But the more tags used by users, you can see the tag cloud. You can see more weight on some of the keywords which are used by many people. In addition to the tags, you can also have reviews of these books. You can have ratings. You can have, as you can see it here, you can have its popularity and how many members are actually following this reading, have read or seen this book. Another way of involving users could be to, for example, for a painting like this, you can ask your users to identify who are in the paintings, the context of the painting, and also their own interpretation about paintings. So you can have, as I said, that enriching, that diversity within an information object. I was talking about reviews. This is just an example that I created, reviews of books that I read, including Everything is Miscellaneous here. So you can create also your own metadata by adding tags, reviews, annotations, comments. So that's user-generated metadata. So overall, the idea is you can create metadata by yourselves, but also if you are tutors, if you are lecturers, or librarians, you can actually involve your users in the creation of metadata, which can give you a more enriched metadata. Metadata helps you to provide context, describe, link an information object. I hope this short video helps you to have some understanding of metadata, but also you can go and read more about metadata. Thank you very much.